Hello, everyone. Welcome to Doc's Herbal Corner, sponsored by Dr. Tate's Herbal Tinctures and Tonics. Did you know that you may very well have in your kitchen right now culinary herbs that also have medicinal qualities? They are called kitchen medicines, and today we're going to talk about cinnamon. Here's the thing. Does that little bottle of cinnamon or cinnamon sticks truly have medicinal qualities, or are there more potent versions that we need to be aware of? I don't know, but I know someone who does. We are joined today by naturalist, herbalist, detox specialist, author, and diplomat of integrated medicine, with over half a century of herbal medicine experience, which includes cinnamon, Dr. Stephen Tates. Let's jump right in. Okay, Doc, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about cinnamon.
Ooh.
Now, in the herbal science, people think about plants and herbs.
Right.
Teas, tinctures, stuff like that. There's a whole category of what we call kitchen medicines.
All right, kitchen medicines.
And the reason why they're called kitchen medicines because people tend to use them more as seasonings, like cayenne and garlic and cinnamon and oregano and stuff like that. And they know that it may help with their eating taste better.
Right.
But they don't understand that in kitchen medicines, they're just as effective in cleansing, healing, rebuilding the body as the burdock and the gentian and the ginseng and all the other kinds of herbs. But people don't put those things together. Like some of the stuff you're using for seasonings just doesn't just taste good, but it has therapeutic benefits too.
So the next time I order cinnamon rolls, I can say I'm eating them for medicinal purposes.
That's the sugar junkie saying that.
Okay. All right. Back to reality then.
Nice try. I said cinnamon.
All right.
Not cinnamon rolls because then it's got the sugar.
No honey buns or... No.
Now, you can eat them, but then you be calling me to want to clean out your system.
Okay. All right. So that's not the purpose of this show.
No.
All right. So we're talking about cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
It is a kitchen herb.
Uh-huh.
All right.
We call it kitchen medicine.
Kitchen medicines.
Yeah.
All right.
And so the kitchen herbs, people will think like, oh, they're herbs in the kitchen that you seasoning. But there's a whole category and a whole study on kitchen medicines, kitchen remedies, things you find in your cabinet. Like, I'll give you one example before we go to cinnamon. Cayenne pepper. Okay?
Right.
Cayenne pepper is a seasoning, but cayenne pepper is excellent for blood cleansing and flushing the blood and high in vitamin C, all those kinds of things. But today, we're dealing with cinnamon.
All right. So what do we need to know about cinnamon?
First, cinnamon is an antioxidant.
Okay.
You always hear about antioxidants like, vitamin A, beta-carotene, vitamin C, CoQ10. Antioxidants help protect against inflammation, aging, low high cholesterol. It's very strong and helping purify the blood. A lot of times when people are precancerous or cancerous, you hear about taking antioxidants.
Right.
And you hear again, like I said, about the beta-carotene and the vitamin C and stuff. But cinnamon is an excellent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. So it reduces inflammation, and it also helps at a cellular level, to add to the protection for those cells. Now, some people say, well, I should just take 2 or 3 teaspoons of that a day, just straight. No, you can just use them like you use them typically as seasonings, just being consistent with it.
So when we say it's a kitchen medicine, so this is the cinnamon that you literally can buy at a grocery store?
yes and no.
Okay.
It's the same cinnamon, but typically the cinnamon you get in a grocery store have been tampered with or just is not as strong. Then when you go to like a farmer's market, a health food store,
Okay.
and you're getting the cinnamon in bulk, you'll find
It's less processed.
less processed, more in its raw form,
Okay.
and then much more powerful taste. One of the things that you can tell if you've got some good cinnamon is that when you take a little bit on your food, it will open up your sinuses, or you'll feel it helping to flush the blood, different from the ones you get in the supermarket you're just using as a seasoning.
Okay.
Both for cinnamon, but this cinnamon is a higher quality cinnamon, right, that still has the medicinal properties in it. So if I'm looking at inflammation problems and I'm taking my anti-inflammatory herbs and supplement, but then I'm trying to eat right and trying to flavor my food, I want to get that bulk cinnamon. You get like in a farmer's market, or you order online or in a health food store that sells the bulk herbs, because then I know I'm getting something that is strong. The cinnamon also helps with dental problems.
Dental problems.
With the gums, actually.
Okay.
Because the antioxidant is feeding and helping the cells in your gums, but it also is reducing inflammation.
Well, that makes sense. And certainly a lot of people have issues with their gums.
With their gums. So, and in some cases, under supervision, you can take some of that cinnamon and mix it with some water. I have sometimes people will do the hydrogen peroxide and baking soda and water, add cinnamon to it.
Now, you said under supervision. What do you mean?
Well, I say under supervision because people can get carried away with something. Ooh.
Oh, too much of a good thing.
Too much of a good thing. And in the herbal kingdom, if you're not trained in stuff, you always want to start off with things in moderation. Where people hurt themselves when they're working with herbs is that they have this premise that herbs are safe.
Right.
And
it's got to be good. It's natural, right?
Right. I hear that all the time. And the problem with that is it's natural, but it's powerful. And some of your most powerful herbs, and we've talked about this in previous podcasts with different herbs, some of your more powerful, highly medicinal herbs also can be very toxic as well if you do too much of it. And so you want to be sure that that you're getting the raw cinnamon. And the beauty with the kitchen medicine, just do them in moderation. I mean, you just do enough like you're seasoning your food.
So, okay. So can you get cinnamon in capsules?
Yes, you can.
All right. So that would be one approach.
That would be one approach.
And then you can get it in more of a raw, less refined form.
Not like, and my preference is the raw, less refined form.
All right. So you're talking like cinnamon sticks that you see little coiled up?
Cinnamon sticks you put in your tea. Yeah.
All right. So you just take so you're not grinding it up. You're just putting it in your tea.
And mixing with, with your hot tea.
Okay.
That's an effective way of using cinnamon. Then using cinnamon on your foods, in your foods when you're cooking. Okay. It also helps. Cinnamon also helps in lowering your blood pressure.
Wow.
Because of the anti-inflammatory aspect, as things reduce in their swelling, it helps their blood circulate a whole lot better. The better the blood circulating, the lower the blood pressure will be. Better the blood circulates, fat deposits in your blood that contributes to cholesterol levels, like, high LDL, which is bad fats,
right.
Or total cholesterol. And cinnamon is not the only thing you can use, but that subject is on cinnamon today. So let's kind of cap just a little bit. It's an antioxidant. It's an anti-inflammatory. And because it's an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory and helps with dental health and helps lower cholesterol levels and lowers blood pressure, it actually helps slow down the aging process in the body.
Wow.
Because it's not only feeding the body, but it's dealing with some of the major issues we have. A body that is clogged or stagnant or not circulating well, whether it's bowel movement, blood circulation, stuff like that, then fungus and bacteria and diseases can build in the body quicker when things are not moving the way it's supposed to.
So is it anti-aging in that it's helping your body, you say like clear some of these things, fight some of these things. So it helps your body, so your body is not just by itself trying to fight these things.
Absolutely.
Or am I that is one way of putting it.
That's okay. Part of that premise. And then taking it a step farther, it's a great food preservative. That's an old school kind of thing, so it helps preserve.
I never knew.
Yeah. It also protects against heart disease. Now, how does it do that? That's that antioxidants again. That's that anti-inflammatory. That's that getting that blood to move. And the better the blood's moving and the more you're nourishing the body, the less problems you're going to have with blood pressure or cholesterol because it's nourishing and cleansing at the same time. And this is a kitchen medicine. That doesn't mean that the other stuff that you take, like the burdock and gentian and stuff, is not good. It just helps the body help itself more. You find me say that a lot.
So obviously it has a lot of positives. You had mentioned earlier about, taking cinnamon for medicinal purposes under supervision. So we're talking about talking to an herbalist or a naturopath, potentially their physician, if the physician has understanding of cinnamon. What are some of the things, or I would say the cautions associated with cinnamon?
Not many.
Okay.
Just overuse and more irritation of the digestive tract or irritation of the stomach. Okay. It's not like, if I take too much, I'm going to glow in the dark. I have some other kinds of issues. No.
Well, that would be a most unusual and unfortunate side effect, but that's not the case here. Nobody's going to glow in the dark.
Same color as the cinnamon. You're glowing into
all right.
But I want to add a couple more things before we wind down.
Okay.
Cinnamon helps improve sensitivity to insulin. So those who end up that are diabetics and on insulin, and they're using cinnamon as one of their seasonings, it cuts down on people's sensitivity to the insulin.
What do you mean it cuts down on sensitivity?
Because sometimes with the insulin will contribute to a breakdown in the system, more inflammation, more up and down elevated blood sugar numbers when you're on blood sugar numbers when you're on insulin. And insulin has a lot of side effects to it, but it reduces the sensitivity to that. I want to add a couple more things. It helps transport blood sugar from the bloodstream, which then in turn is one of the reasons why it helps with the insulin. Okay. And then winding up, it improves digestion because the cinnamon is high in digestive enzymes. So when you're taking it, it's helping the food.
That's helping your body absorb the nutrients from the food that you eat, assuming, and I'm going back to a past podcast, assuming you're eating good food.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning a little bit.
Yeah, well, you're learning a lot. You learn quickly. Okay. It helps fight bacteria in the body and fungal infections, and it has antiviral properties. So with viruses and stuff, I mean, it's not like a cure-all, but mixed with other kitchen medicines.
Right.
Or just if you're on an herbal program and you're adding cinnamon as part of your regime, part of your diet, it's going to have all these kinds of effects on the body. That's why it's up near the top of the list when it comes to kitchen medicines.
So anyone considering cinnamon, they would want to talk to an expert.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there are local herbalists and naturopaths in many areas. If someone would like to reach you directly, doctor, how could they reach you?
They can call me.
Okay.
They can call me, and the best number is 404-943-1171. But when they're calling, they should also mention that they heard, you're interviewing me on this podcast. So
they need to mention the podcast.
They need to mention the podcast. I heard Dr. Tate's on the podcast. I want some more questions about the cinnamon or something else that may be a health issue. So that way we know that, it's one of our listeners. And being one of our listeners to the podcast, not that I don't pay attention to everybody that calls me, but, one of my podcast people. and I'll pull my chair up across my feet. I said, okay, a member of the podcast group. So
all right. Because if I recall, you hold such people in high esteem.
Well, and the reason why is because if you're listening to the podcast, it tells me that it's more than just curiosity. It's like, I want to learn. I want to know what to do. So it's, so that's why you get, that higher elevation, because you're a student of trying to learn how to take care of your body.
All right. Thank you, Doc. And now a quick word about our sponsor, Dr. Tate's Herbal Tinctures and Tonics. Dr. Tate's all-natural herbal formulas, which are the true definition of herbal tonics, have been available for over 20 years. These specially formulated herbal tonics are designed to help cleanse, heal, rebuild, and revitalize your body, which will help improve your overall health. Dr. Tate's offers the Herbal Blood Tonic, Doc's Detox, Herbal Fat Burner, Herbal Female Tonic, and Herbal Male Tonic. If you would like to learn more about the tonics and where to pick up your bottle, call 404-459-8696 or visit Dr. Tate's at drtates.online. That's drtates.online. Or you can simply Google Dr. Tate's Herbal Tinctures and Tonics, and you will find a great deal of information on the internet. That does it for this episode of Adventures in Good Health. And we would like to hear from you regarding this podcast and any suggestions you have for future podcasts. You can reach us at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please subscribe and leave a rating or a review. Until next week, this is David Malouf exploring natural approaches to good health.